It's the Franklin Show, live from Franklin, with America's favorite adopted pup, Franklin Delano Roosevelt Lloyd Wright Sinatra Seltzer, and his friend and favorite Franklin dog adopter, Michael Seltzer. I'm your announcer, former big-time radio legend in my own mind, Dick Purton. And now, here's Franklin.
Wow, thank you. Whoa, my God, thank you, everybody. Oh, my God, and thank you to my dear friend and great MC, Dick Perkins. Dick and I go back decades. Thank you, Dick, for coming out of retirement, and thank you all. Oh, my God, thank you all. And all you people up there on the balcony. Can we turn the house lights up? That's unbelievable. What a welcoming audience. I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Stop. Oh my God. It's so good to be back. Yes, it's been a while. Most of you recognize me from my radio and TV shows and my award-winning best-selling books like my latest book, The President, the Prime Minister, a Notary, and Less. But this is, and of course, who could forget Hard Seltzer? That was a great series. I'm very proud. Yes, thank you very much. Hard Seltzer, we did some great investigative journalism. I'm very proud. I mean, I even feel that I did a lot better than Geraldo Rivera, but that's another story. And Geraldo will be on this show. He is definitely booked. Anyway, this is a new show. It's a new day, and it's groundbreaking because this is about a pup who adopted me. Yes, he was sitting in a cage and he was looking oh so sweet, and he spotted us, my wife and I, and I'll tell you what, we were at our beautiful Franklin Village Roundup, the Labor Day event, 79 years this event is right now. And we were walking through the adoption area, as we always do, waving to our friends and kissing babies, you know, because I am an elected councilman in the village of Franklin, so I have to do that. But never before had I had a thought about a dog. We've always, my wife and I, Lori and I, have had cats for years and loved them to death. They're just wonderful pets. But, you know, I don't know what it was, but as I was walking through and I see this man in a cage, and I said to her, I said, Laura, I love that boy. I want him. And she goes, what? I mean, this is like an unplanned pregnancy. We had not even talked about this. So needless to say, we took him out of the cage. He jumped all over me. He's become my best friend, and I dearly love him. And so this is going to be a little bit about that, but mostly it's going to be about the village of Franklin. And, I got a shout out to my producer. I call him Steve because that's his name, Steve. So Steve, thanks for this beautiful set that you put together. I mean, look at this desk. Could you have asked for anything better? Here's a fly. Can you see the fly on the desk? That's a live fly. So that's really, and the curtain that we don't have. I think that's tremendous. But you know, it's not about the set, it's about the feeling. And you people out there, you wonderful people. Oh, and look who just wandered by. Here is Broderick Bloomfield, the owner of Bloomfield Cable. Brod, thank you very much. Can I call you Brod, or is that politically incorrect? I mean, it's his name. So okay, Brod, thanks. And we're going to have a meeting right after this taping because I want a real desk and I want nice curtains. I think that Franklin deserves that. But anyway, thank you all for being here for the inaugural show. I'm going to amble my way around to the desk and have a seat just like they do on big time TV. Yes, sir. Franklin and I, oh, that's a really comfortable director's chair. Really comfortable. Hey, Brod, I'd like a leather chair, you know, little, yeah. Okay, before the show started, Franklin took some questions from the audience. So we'll get started with that here before we introduce our guests. And by the way, we've got some great guests. You're going to love these folks. But the first question to me is, who am I and why am I here? Well, that first question is a little insulting because if you don't know who I am, you haven't been paying attention. As I've stated in my opening, I'm a best-selling author. I'm an international notary. This is my notary stamp. I brought it for the audience. That's right. If you have any documents that you need me to notarize, I'm here. And after the show, I likely won't notarize any of your documents. I'm a Franklin Village councilman, and very proud of that. I have been a councilman since 2010. I've been reelected 4 times. I love our village of Franklin, and really that's what this is all about. Franklin is about Franklin, the town that time forgot, which, by the way, we're 200 years old this month, 200 years. My house was built in 1840, and that's another story for another show if we do a second show. Well, I'm kidding. We're going to do many of these shows because I can already tell. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm also, I retired 10 award news. And I have become what I like to call a professional volunteer. I do Meals on Wheels. I deliver to seniors all throughout the Detroit metropolitan area from the Next Seniors facility in Birmingham. I work at the Yad Ezra Food Pantry. I'm a board member of Temple Israel. Very proud of the work that we do and standing strong for causes that I think are important. But anyway, let's see, we've got
got mail.
Oh, we got mail too. So we already got some letters from viewers in advance. So let me just look at the first. We have a letter here from someone who prefers not to be named. So thank you, David Goldberg from Franklin Village, for this letter. Oh, he didn't want to be named. This is crazy. You know, if I had a cigarette, which, you know, this is my cigarette holder. I was told by Broad, you can't smoke in the studio. That's another problem. Do you remember when you used to smoke on airplanes? And you know, there was a dividing line. So the people in the front that were smoking, they weren't bothering all the people in the back. Of course, if you were 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 rows back, it was bothersome. But anyway, they told me I couldn't smoke, so it slows me down a little bit. So the first question is from David Goldberg. Oh, I did it again. I wasn't supposed to mention his name, David Goldberg. And the question is to Franklin. So I'm going to ask Franklin, Franklin, what's it like living with Michael? Well, that's a good question. I tell you what. So here's what happens. We wake up every day. I'm an early riser. I'm up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning listening to some of my favorite radio programs, personalities from all over the world that I love. Big radio fan. We'll talk about that in the next episode if there is another episode. Oh yeah, there will be. But I wake up, I'm very happy. I'm happy to be with Franklin and his brother Winston. Winston was another adoptee. The very next year when we went to Roundup, we said we wanted to show him off, right? So we take him to the Roundup to show him off, and then we see this other little guy in a cage. And I said to my wife, and she goes, oh, no, we can't do this every time we come to Roundup because we do this every year. But we adopted Winston. So there's a Franklin and a Winston. And Winston will be on the show. His picture is somewhere on the desk. He's the one that isn't Franklin, for those of you that are discerning. But anyway, I wake up in the morning and I take Franklin outside for his daily ritual, have my coffee, and I begin singing. And I sing constantly, and my wife loves it. No, she doesn't. She hates it. Because I have taken most every popular song and I have integrated Franklin into it. Like, there's no Franklin like my Franklin, like no Franklin I know, and stuff like that. And can you imagine that would be annoying? But that's what I do, and I do a lot of it. So, but that's what it's like, and then all day long, I go out, I run my charity things, I do whatever I have to do, my meetings for the Village of Franklin, my meetings for other organizations that I work with, and then ultimately come back, and he's so happy to see me. He's always happy to see me, which I love. I love the fact that I have an adopted dog who God knows what kind of life he led before I met him, and that bothers me, actually. But nonetheless, oh, I hear ringing. You know, we are going to take some calls. The lines are lit. And so let me see. We have, let me see. It could be my tinnitus, because I do have tinnitus, and that's ringing of the ears. But is the caller there? Oh, hi. Can you? Are we not getting? Oh, so people can't hear that I'm talking to. Well, thank you very much. I wish the audience could hear your praise for the show. Thank you. That's very kind of you to call. I hope that we have this worked out at the next show so that I can actually put you on the air. But God bless you for that. And well, if you can scan the document and we could FaceTime, I might be able to notarize it, but I have to kind of, okay. So call me off the air and we'll figure that out. Thanks very much. Yeah. Anyway, you notice I said, is the caller there? That was like Phil Donahue back in the 60s and 70s, for those of you who are keeping track of retro. And that brings up a point about one of our guests, which I will allude to when she gets out here, because I'm going to try to embarrass her about this. It won't be hard. In any event, this is, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to take a break. You know, we've got all these commercial sponsors that are sponsoring the show, and I'm so grateful to all of them. Art Van, God bless you. Oh, that's right, bankrupt. Okay, in any event, thank you everybody. We'll be right back with our first guest, Megan Schubert, the new village administrator from Franklin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be right back. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Whoa, thank you. Wow, what a great, so great. Thank you all. We love you too. You're the best. Yes, yes, I'll notarize for you. I promise. Just after the show. Keep these people away from me, please. Wow. Hi, everybody. Okay, we're back, and I'd like to welcome my first guest. And I am so happy to have Megan Schubert, who is our new village administrator in the village of Franklin. And Megan was with us a couple years ago. She was our Main Street administrator. And she's dynamic, she's vivacious, she's fantastic, and we're lucky to have her. She comes to us from the city of Troy, and she starts shortly. But I'm really, so big hand for, yes, thank you for Megan. Now, Meg, do you prefer Megan or Meg?
I really am just a Meg. I definitely prefer Meg.
So Megan, let me ask you this, my first question. Before you were on Wheel of Fortune, what did you do?
Prior to that, I was a court probation officer in a past life.
I think I remember you from that, because I think I was on probation.
Yeah.
You know, it just connected.
It happens to the best of us, you know?
It's unbelievable that it just took this. How about that, folks? Can you believe it? Yes, I remember. You were good. You were fair.
Oh, you know, fair, lay the law down.
Shackle off my, yeah, thank you. Okay.
We do what we can, yeah. I actually did, that is true. I started in public service and worked in a courthouse for a while as a court clerk, and then was a probation.
In a what house?
A courthouse.
A courthouse. Oh, you know, my ears, by the way, I do have tinnitus. I think I mentioned that when the phone was ringing, and I said that could be my ears. So I didn't hear, sometimes, okay. Thank you. I know, it's crazy. I know, it's ridiculous. Okay, I'm sorry. Megan.
Yes.
Oh, Meg. It's Meg, right. Yeah.
Spent some time working in public service, always knew I wanted to work with the community, and while I was getting my master's degree in public administration, was a probation officer for a while, got to really understand the cool arm of the law there. And
you're going to find a lot of criminals in Franklin too. That's a little known secret about Franklin Village.
That's where they all hide out.
Oh man, you know, it's a great
Jimmy
place.
Hoffa? That was the last place we saw him?
That was at the Bloomfield, what was that restaurant called? It was where Andiamos is.
Okay. And
it was right. And I actually knew people who were in the restaurant when he was being let out. And they were so busy sending back their salads that they didn't pay any attention to these two henchmen that had, that's a true story. whether you believe it or not.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I'm coming back to Franklin.
Yeah,
It's
for that.
the rich history over
Marcus
there.
Red Fox. That's
Is that what it was
It was called
called?
the Marcus Red Fox.
Love
You
a
go-
good-
yes, everybody remembers it. I know. It's great.
Trivia question
Crazy.
later here.
Yeah.
And so spent some time in public service, economic development, community development, always been really interested in how I can work with a community and help a community. Was really fortunate to have my introduction to Metro Detroit be in Franklin a few years ago.
Was that the start of it?
Yes, it was. I had just moved. The day before I started from Franklin, I had moved down from Mount Pleasant and was completely new to all of that Metro Detroit is. So really
So you
enjoyed
went
that.
from Mount Pleasant to completely unpleasant. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke.
I would never.
I love Franklin, right? Yes. Okay, I'm sorry.
And moved in and down into the village and was able to work and do some Main Street work and some economic development and most importantly just understand and get to know Franklin as a village. It is its own unique thing.
Yes, it is.
And we're so fortunate to have that still alive in the village. So transitioning there and end up as the assistant city manager in Troy, very different community.
Yeah.
Doing a completely different job over in there, and found myself.
How many jail cells do you have in Troy?
Well, in lockup, I think we have 5 right
5.
now.
We've got a lot to learn because we don't have, I think we have 1.
Oh.
And, well, whatever, we'll deal with that
We'll
when the
just
time
ship the
comes.
bad guys over there. It's fine.
Yeah, good idea.
It's
That's
a
the thing.
partnership.
We don't have any bad guys.
Oh, perfect.
We don't. We have sign stealers, but that's another issue. We'll get into that.
We'll crack down on those for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so coming back over to the village, I'm just really excited. I'm excited to work with the community again. I'm excited to know the residents that I'm working for and to be so personally invested. I keep joking that it feels like I'm coming home because I've already been a part of the village, but I really cannot be happier to get over there. And it feels like a good time. There's a lot of change.
It's a great
in the
time.
village.
I mean, what we've done in the last couple of years since we did that streetscape plan,
Yes.
and I'm very proud of that because I was very much a part of pressing for that, the beautification of our downtown Franklin, the sidewalks that allowed connectivity, allowed people who want to traverse our beautiful downtown area. I love that fly. I love a good fly fan. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Tell your friends. Anyway, we'll talk to Broad about that later. The fact that we now have the ability for so many villagers to walk safely to our downtown. And it was unbelievable to me that was a controversy. I mean, there were actually people who didn't want us to put in the sidewalks. Now, by the way, I am not a proponent of sidewalks in the village of Franklin. We have a rural, twisting, turning village, and it's perfect the way it is.
Agreed.
But the sidewalks that brought people from 13 Mile to 14 Mile to be able to get to our park, to get to our baseball fields, our library, downtown, and the lighting that we've done and the landscaping that we've done. I mean, and that's why it's so exciting right now.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
I mean, the Main Street is really the heartbeat of the community.
Right.
And it is what brings outsiders into the village, but it's also there for the residents of the village to use. And it's a way that we can connect and come together and host different events and support each other. But there's a lot of great stuff going down on Main Street that are going to continue to change. I heard there's some exciting projects lined up.
Well, we've got a guest coming up who's going to talk about a really exciting project, and there's many of them right now. We even have a pet store, right, Frank?
Franklin.
We love the pet store. So, I mean, those things the things that are happening right now are happening because we were proactive.
Absolutely.
Because we took extra money from our road fund, money that we hadn't used when we built out the rest of the roads in the community, and we put these sidewalks in place. And I don't think there's anybody now looking at the contrast between what was and what is that could have anything to say negatively. In fact, one of the people that was fighting us most vehemently, who lived on Franklin Road, unfortunately has passed away, nice man, came to me afterwards to say how he was actually getting compliments about the work that we did in front of his house. The sidewalk, the stone wall that surrounds his property, It was a beautification project.
And pedestrian safety, there was a lot that went into that.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of how sometimes, you need to move forward, you need to be cognizant of your roots, and sometimes you can't always see what the end result is going to be, but having faith and working together as a community can yield some great results, and I think we see that in Main Street now.
I definitely am a big proponent. I'm also a part of the Main Street Board of Directors.
Yes.
And so the projects that we have upcoming are just tremendous. I'm really excited about the things that follow this. And having you back is really just a great, I'm very proud that I was, I think, somewhat instrumental in staying in touch with you, continuing our friendship.
Absolutely.
And recognizing that when there was an opportunity, because our long-standing village administrator agreed that it was time for him to retire, we took him out of retirement, and now we've allowed him to go back into retirement. So we want to thank him, Roger Frazier. Great job. But a new and exciting beginning with Megan. Meg, I know. That's just me. Whatever you say, I'm going to do the opposite. Now you know that about me. So
keeps us on our toes.
Yes.
No, I do always say it's a new administrator is a time for a fresh start. There's a lot that we need to preserve because there's a lot that is Franklin that needs to stay that way, and it'll be a great time for us to go ahead and look and see how we want Franklin to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road.
Well, there's a great history in the Village of Franklin. As I alluded to earlier, we are celebrating our 200th anniversary right now. And I mean, think about that. Think about the history of a community from 2 centuries ago. And I happen to be a proud owner of a house that was built in 1840.
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
If those walls could talk about the experiences and the people that lived in that home that was, actually it was an inn at one point, and it was a restaurant at another point. It was called Franklin House. And it's a great story, and I can share that at another time if we do a second show. I'm kidding, we're doing another show. I know. We're gonna work out the desk though. The desk is this is not good, and I want a curtain. It's not a lot to ask.
But we'll make sure the fly comes back.
And the fly is fine. It's a friendly fly. I've seen worse. I mean, it could be a scorpion, it could be a snake, it could be anything. But so, do you have any immediate? What are you going to do? I love this on day one.
The first thing that I'm going to do is get reintegrated with the village. I want to see everything that's been going on in the last 2 or 3 years since I've been there. Where we're at with big projects, where's the community's temperature been for certain initiatives, and what we've identified as our main priorities. And then after that, we're going to just hit the ground running. Knowing Franklin already, I think, will help me just start off on the right foot, and already having this emotional attachment to the village will help keep me framed and in the right direction. And so I really foresee the next 6 months and year of my time in Franklin in the immediate bringing about some change, but also, creating some stability too.
2 questions. What do you think of a dog park? That's from him.
Franklin, I think we need a dog park. I mean, and you could be the president of the dog park.
And there's one other thing. What about dog walkers paying no taxes? What do you think of that?
Franklin, that one's going to be harder for me, but I'll see what I can do on that one.
All right, listen, we got to wrap this up. Meg, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
coming. Great to see you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Franklin.
Okay, folks, we'll be right back. Thank you. We'll be right back. God love you. Mwah. I love you too. Yes, I'll notarize. Yes, okay.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back. Wow, great. Thank you so much. Yes, I love you. Yes, we love you. Well, thank you. Thank you all. Welcome back. Oh, my God. What a pleasure it is to be here with my next guest. My next guest is Lisa MacDonald. She is an entrepreneur. She is a talented young lady. that we've known for, well, how long have we known each other now?
15 years.
Yeah, 15
At least,
years.
yeah, 15.
And Lisa, oh, by the way, Lisa, do you like being called Lisa or Sally? Which is the...
Lisa today.
Okay, Lisa. Okay.
Lisa.
Just want to
Thank
make sure.
Yes.
You know, because I had a thing with Meg. I said, would you like to be called Meg or Megan? And she said Meg, and I kept calling her Megan. So
Right, you know, Lisa today.
So
We're good.
Lisa, okay. So we've known each other for about 15 years. You came to the Village, and you opened up Fitness Driven.
Correct.
And you opened it up in the upper level of what was the Market Basket
Yes.
building,
Yep.
which used to be Bill Finicum's office. Yeah.
Yep.
Bill Finicum was the architect who helped recreate our 1840s house when we moved to the Village. But so tell me about how that all came about.
So I was driving around. I've been doing all in-home personal training in the area back in 2010, 2009. And I just one day popped in to grab a water from the market, and I looked upstairs, and there was a available.
What did he charge
sign.
you for the water?
Well,
that was an issue.
another story. That could have been $4.
Yeah, see, that was an issue that we had with them, and that's why. Well, we'll save that for another episode, if there is another episode. I'm just kidding.
But I got my water.
Thank you. I know.
And then
Yeah.
looked upstairs, saw the sign in the window, and realized, let me look at this space.
What did the sign say?
For rent. It was
there
vacant.
a phone number or anything like that?
Yeah, there was a phone number.
Oh, okay.
It was
Because if
somebody
it just
was
said
listing
for rent, it would be kind of hard to.
Right.
Okay,
There
so-
was a phone number, rent.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
possible space.
Did you have a
So-
cell phone on you at that time?
Of course.
So did you call the number? or-
Yes, called
You
the
did?
number.
Okay.
Yep.
Someone answered?
Somebody answered.
Yeah.
I think it was Michael Rose.
I don't know who that is, and I'm not paying for that. That was
Right.
no
they could have been.
endorsements.
No
We're not doing-
endorsements.
Okay.
No.
All right. Yeah.
Saw this place, walked in, just felt totally at home with it.
Yeah.
And
It was
you
the
know,
staircase. I
It was
think
the stair-
if
yeah,
you're an
it's-
exercise person, one of the first things you want to do is be able to show that you can do what
Right.
it is you're there to do.
we weeded out clients.
I think all exercise places should have a second floor, and you should have to start there. Because if you can't make it up the stairs,
Right, then there's no point. Like I
there's
get
no
all my
point.
steps in
do
over
you ever
the day.
send people away that are like heavily breathing when they get to the middle?
Well, that's why we had it, right? If you
Yeah.
didn't get up, they just turned around and
You
walked
just-
out.
Oh, they
So
turn around.
they turn around because they couldn't get
But
up
wouldn't
the
you,
second
in
stairs.
good conscience, say, "Look, you
No,
gotta-
because
you
I
gotta-"
need to help them.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm.
Well, that's that.
Yes, that's why
helping people.
helping people. That's why I love what I do.
Okay.
So
I get
I'm
that.
able to help everyone and make them feel good at the end of the day.
Right.
And,
So you don't
that's-
insult people when you first
No,
meet them?
no.
Well, I don't know. I kind of remember you're insulting me, but well,
I think you're a different story.
Maybe.
Like that's
Maybe.
different. We have a different relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but if you're a
Not
client,
really. It hurt my
I
feelings.
can't make
Yeah.
you feel bad if you're a client.
Right.
You
right.
know,
Especially
right?
if you
It's
want to get paid.
long term, I want to get paid
Do you
for
get
that.
do you get paid
and-
cash in advance, or do you actually give them a
No,
charge?
I keep their credit cards in file.
Okay.
You know,
that's what
so-
intrigues me about restaurants. You can go into any restaurant you want, and they assume that you're going to pay. I mean, in any other thing, you have to put down a deposit or you have to prepay. But you can go into any fancy restaurant, and they just make the assumption, yeah, you look like you can afford this.
Right, and they
Isn't
don't
that
know. You
amazing?
could just get up and walk out and never pay a
But
bill.
you don't, okay, so you take a credit card. in
Yes,
that
credit
way.
card on file.
Got it.
Required.
Okay. So
So
you started this, and
started
this was
there.
15 years ago?
It would have been 2010. I started upstairs. So
That's when I started on
1500
council.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2010.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's yep.
And you
That's
were the
when I
one
met
in the
you.
audience that was heckling and said when they were going to
course.
appoint me, you said, "Not him."
Right.
I kind of
Yep.
remember.
I had my picket signs.
Yeah. But
I was-
anyway.
But that was that was a
Fast
long time
forward
ago.
to now when I've been reelected 4 times. But
Right.
okay. So you started that, and you were upstairs, and how did that go?
Fantastic. You
Yeah.
know, I really built the business. We hired more trainers. Was up there completely filled until 2000 and the market went out in 2016, I believe,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
We don't hear much about
And
that on
then-
council.
No, never.
People were very grateful to us. They said, "Good riddance. Who wants a market?"
Right. They were.
Yeah.
I'm the bad guy
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well,
because
there were
I
a number of
moved.
bad guys involved in that deal, but
I kicked them out, but I didn't.
but
I
we
was
did have
vacant.
another market that wanted to come in, and then there was a competition from Nino Salvaggio,
Right.
opened up at
Right.
Maple and Telegraph,
Yeah,
and that completely
so
put the
it's-
kibosh on a market.
Right, because they
so.
just don't want that competition, and
Yeah.
it's too close.
Yeah.
So I just felt that space
Right.
had been vacant for 2 years.
Right.
I was ready to expand my business.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was a great opportunity.
And what a first-class fitness center
Thank
you've
you.
got. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I
if
wanted
you
it to be
haven't
a
walked into Driven on Franklin Road, it is a palace. I mean, it's like a 4-star, 5-star. How many stars?
Six.
Many stars.
6, many stars.
As many stars as we're going to have on next week's show. I'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. But anyway, so then you expanded?
Expanded,
Beautiful.
built out,
Yeah.
opened in February of 2019, just in time to prep 1 year before COVID hit.
Right. Good timing.
So great timing,
Yeah.
couldn't be better timing. But
yeah.
we survived COVID, and I think in part because we had the space. Because once we were able
Sure.
to open up,
Right.
we were able to separate people,
You could
keep them
people that were breathing really heavily
Apart.
at least 6 feet apart.
absolutely.
And they
we
weren't.
had multiple.
And so would they have to wear masks?
we had people masked. I think it was a year we were wearing masks in there.
I see. I couldn't
So-
imagine exercising with a
It was
mask.
terrible.
Yeah.
It was awful. I think
Awful.
it probably did more harm than good,
Yeah,
but
probably.
that's another episode.
Well, now we know. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
right. So took over that space and have been just great. Loved it. Our business has been growing. Everyone's been happy. And I just been kind of feeling bored. Last year, I kind of put into the universe that, I'm kind of a little bored.
Yeah.
And everything's just running too smoothly. And then, everything's
How can I
good.
screw this up?
How can I make this,
I got this great thing going here. What can I do to screw it up?
And then
Right.
my then landlord called me and said he thinks he's ready to talk his sister into selling the property, to see if I was still interested, and
Yeah.
I said absolutely.
Wow.
And so we took from August of last year to March of this year to get the deal to close, but we finally closed, and I now own the whole property, including the little space in the back.
So now the building just next to your building, which is further back, used to be
Yep.
an ice cream venue.
Yes.
And then became a French patisserie for
Correct.
a period of time. That is your new project.
Correct.
So
That's
talk
my
to
new
us
project.
about that new project and what your plan is for that.
So that new project, I really feel that the whole property needs revitalization, that there needs to be a space in the community for people to come and gather and be. And whether that's a coffee shop and a park and just a place for people to be. So I decided that I want to open up a coffee shop. I have no idea about running a coffee business, but I'm open and able to learn. And
I drink coffee. Let me tell you,
I do too.
It can't be that complicated.
Right.
It just can't.
It can't be that complicated.
Ask
and
the
it's
folks at Starbucks, what the hell do they
right,
do?
a machine and beans
Hey,
and
a couple
just,
of baristas and
Right.
$8 for a cup of coffee, and everybody's happy.
and we're good.
Yeah.
And just make it a beautiful space. I
Yeah.
think that's the thing I learned with my current facility at Driven is
but
just
more than
put-
just coffee,
But
right?
more than just coffee.
Way more.
So we're gonna have coffee and small food items, toasts and jams, and open face sandwiches. And then also we want to do in the evenings when people aren't drinking coffee, we are working on getting a liquor license that will allow us to serve really curated wines. So not just
Nice.
random selections, but doing a curated selections, rotating them out, doing other events that are bringing in food trucks and partnering them with whether we're having a tequila tasting or bringing in different resources. So,
And what about for dogs? I mean, it's called the Gray Dog Cafe.
well,
Right?
Gray Dog is my dog named Tig, who I was not allowed to bring today. That's another episode.
Well, this is, first of all, we've got to iron out some of the problems here in this venue, and I just wanted to make sure we had a comfortable spot for your wonderful dog.
Right.
And until I saw what we have here, I wasn't convinced. But you'll be back
Yes.
because I can already tell the audience loves you, right? Yes, of course they love. She's great. I know. But okay, so the Gray
So Gray Dog Cafe. Yep,
That's
the Gray
named
Dog
after
Cafe
your dog.
is named after my dog.
Has
Tig,
nothing to do with dogs.
And has nothing to do
There's
with
no
dogs.
dog park?
There's
no dog
there's,
wash?
There's not gonna be a dog wash. There's not gonna be a dog park. I mean, there's gonna be a park in the back where we want to bring in gardens and have dogs will be allowed on the patio.
So you will be
and
dog
so
friendly.
We'll be dog friendly, absolutely. We'll maybe have a dog coffee of some sort. And maybe some
interesting.
photos of dogs inside. That might be a possibility. So I have a very good subject for photos of
Do
gray
you?
dogs.
Yeah.
So
I can think of at least 2 dogs that should be in that collection.
Right, and then there might be
One
one.
is Franklin. The other one
Right.
is Winston. He's on the desk here somewhere. You know Winston.
Yes, yes.
He's his
So
brother.
we have some models already
Yeah.
that are going to be,
Yeah.
you know, featured in this in the cafe, and it's going to be great.
And so when, Lisa, do you anticipate this fabulous new venue opening?
We're anticipating opening in the spring,
spring.
early summer of next year.
Awesome.
So of 2025, and just making sure that we get everything done correctly.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like rushing into things,
Right.
and I really feel
No, I
that
agree.
taking our time. The building was built in 1840. It was a barn at one point that got converted into a house.
Yeah. It's a great
and
venue.
It's a great space. It just
Do
needs some love.
you anticipate
It's-
any entertainment there?
I would love to have. Yes, I mean, it's
Do you have a
bringing
notary?
in-
Do you have a notary? Because I do have my stamp.
Oh no, but this is good. Now
Okay,
I know
just-
that
yeah.
this is perfect.
It's one of the
so-
many services I perform. All right, I
It's
think we
always
have to
great.
wrap this up, but boy, oh boy, am I happy to have had you here.
Well, this has been a pleasure.
And really, really excited about the new Grey Dog Cafe coming soon to the village of Franklin. And Lisa McDonald, thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
having
being a
me.
great part of our community and for embracing the village of Franklin, because you could have frankly gone anywhere.
Right,
And when
but
I
I
say
didn't want to,
frankly,
so-
I use
Yeah.
that because, yeah.
Of course.
But thank you for
Perfect.
coming.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, everybody, we'll be right back. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yes, God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Lisa McDonald, everybody. Thank you. Oh, wow.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Wow, what a show, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you to this great studio audience and all of you way up there in the balcony. Thank you to my announcer, Dick Perkins, former big-time radio guy, and now just a guy. And thank you to my great band. God bless you guys. You were fantastic tonight. Thank you to everybody who made this day a very special Franklin show, our very first return back on the airwaves here in Franklin Village and all over the world. Next week, I've got a really special show. It's a musical show. My special guest, jazz legend George Benson, is going to be with us. That's right. And from Detroit, Mitch Ryder and the iconic Motown superstar Martha Reeves will be here next week. So join me again, Franklin, and I thank you, and God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. See you again next week, folks. Good night, everybody. Don't forget to tip your wait staff. Enjoy the veal. Thanks, everybody.